Hey, everybody, how are you? This is my boyfriend, Dustin.
Hello, everybody, and this is my lovely and always sunshiny girlfriend, Michelle. And this is Dustin and Michelle.
Welcome to Dustin and Michelle. And by the way, happy Earth Day as sourcers and thrifters. And we all care about the environment. And today is the day to celebrate the Earth. So we're so excited to be here with you guys.
Absolutely. And today we have a very special guest. I am so excited to meet Michelle's brother, Adam Smith. Just an all-around, just very interesting guy. The more and more Michelle talks about him, I just become more and more in awe. And so I would like to actually show you guys. He makes really awesome films, just so cool. And I would like to show you guys something from his YouTube channel. This is one of his latest videos. And this is just a little intro to give you guys an idea. Check this out, guys.
Let's give it a shot. We will see you in Alaska. For those of you who don't personally know me, I'm a busy person. Between my career and being a volunteer firefighter EMT, I don't have a lot of time on my hands. But each day I wake up, I know I have something that I can use to make myself better than I was the day before. I have something that I can help others be better than they were the day before. And that's another opportunity. You see, to the right person, opportunity can be the greatest thing. Opportunity can truly be the gateway to life. And what I've learned when it comes down to your dream hunting or fishing trip, the best thing about opportunity is you have the power to create it yourself.
Thank you, Dustin. Thank you. I got so emotional seeing that video about my brother.
Yes, just wonderful. And well, let's bring him on and let's meet him here.
I just wanted to, yes, let's meet him here. I
Hello,
want to
everybody.
introduce my brother Adam to everybody who is watching, and introduce, like I said, Dustin to my brother Adam for the first time since we started dating. So anyway,
thanks for having me on the show.
Oh,
Thank you
you're
for
welcome.
coming.
People are probably wondering why Dustin and I were thinking that you would be a perfect person to come on the show on Earth Day. And there are a lot of reasons. Number one, you as my brother love to travel around the world. You love to see things. You love to see things off the beaten path when it comes to the world, Earth, countries, just really living. And I thought to myself, and we discussed this, that it'd be so great to have you on to talk about just Earth, what you have enjoyed about it, your work early on at Wayne State University when you were still in college with Ducks Unlimited. And so, yeah, we have a lot of questions. So, hi, I love you. I'm so glad you're here.
That's awesome. It's my first time being live, so.
Oh, yeah?
But, yeah, I mean, and even you know, like growing up, you really enjoyed the outdoors too. Whether it's, you know, fishing or just being outside in nature, that's always a big, you know, it's a big part of my life. And I know you enjoyed it a lot as well too. So, you know, it's just a passion, I guess, that you carry with you. And I feel like there's a lot of people that like the idea of being outdoors, being around nature, but they don't do it as much as, you know, someone who's truly passionate about it, which is like, it's their lifestyle. And with, you know, with that comes conservation and trying to preserve what we have so we can continue to enjoy it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So Adam, did you what's your involvement with the Metro Detroit chapter of Ducks Unlimited?
So yeah, I was studying chemical engineering at Wayne State University, and that's, if you're not familiar with that, it's downtown Detroit. It's a very urban area, and Ducks Unlimited is a nonprofit organization that has been extremely successful bringing back populations of waterfowl. So migrating ducks, geese, tons of different species that call the marsh and the wetlands their home. Back during the 20s and the early 30s, we had a really bad time in history where we had a bunch of droughts, and the prairie pothole region of the United States was dried up, and then we had Great Depression, the Dust Bowls. That is where a large amount of ducks nest. So duck populations were in decline to the point where they were worried that they're going to be on the endangered species list. So there was a brief time where there's no hunting seasons on them, and Ducks Unlimited stepped in. It's kind of when they got going. They said, hey, we need to start preserving these areas, and it's a great success story. Now we have more ducks than we've ever had. So I wanted to start a chapter, Ducks Unlimited, but with the kind of a younger crowd, because you don't see that as much. And Ducks Unlimited is about conservation. It's not necessarily about hunting ducks, which you get a large base of those sportsmen that contribute because they're the ones out there, enjoying those types of places. So yeah, that was I started with Wayne State Ducks Unlimited, and then I took over Metro Detroit Ducks Unlimited with a great guy. And it was a little tricky because there was only one college chapter in Michigan at the time. That was Lake Superior State University. And, down south where there's a bigger hunting culture, they tend to like pull those type of students. For me, I didn't have that. So I focused on let's protect our marshlands. Detroit has one of the largest freshwater tributary systems, and Lake St. Clair Flats, Lake St. Clair, it's, these are areas, these freshwater marsh coastlands, they filter a lot of toxins out of the water. I mean, it's a critical part of our ecosystem. A lot of people think of marshes as like smelly, nasty, gross place, but it's
newer.
But yeah, I mean, we've lost close to 90% of our wetlands already. So what we have now is the last little remaining bit. So I focused on, hey, let's save the ducks. Let's save what we have. Let's get out there. We did a lot of hands-on stuff like wetland cleanup. So we go to St. John's Marsh. We go to Algonac, to different areas along the water. And we take our little boats out and we just go pick up trash, and then we have our fundraiser. But it was cool because I think there's a lot of doubt in starting that chapter, but I always believe in putting more in than you take out, right? So part of conservation has always been, to me, make sure I spend more time, putting into what I take out, and then you can always ensure that down the road you'll have a healthy ecosystem. So that was my first chapter. Then I moved to the Metro Detroit chapter, which has been great. And now I do a lot of work with like Rough Grouse Society. So we have a Roger Moore chapter of Rough Grouse Society. That's a woodland bird that we have that Michigan's really well known for. So next weekend we're going up to Pigeon River on Saturday with my friend Kevin, and we're gonna go plant a whole bunch of trees. And it's all funded, so it's kind of cool. They just need some hands on the ground, and those, so we're gonna plant. I think we're gonna plant some little white pines.
Cool.
Yeah, so those type of birds, it's all about habitat, right? You start losing wetlands, you start seeing a decline in waterfowl numbers. These rough grouse, they love young woods. So actually clear cutting and letting it grow back up is healthy for the bird population.
Wow.
Yeah, as long as they replant the right type of plants there. So they really like little poplar trees, poplar thickets. 3-5-year-old growth is perfect for them to kind of nest and run around in instead of predators. So so we're gonna go to an area and plant some native species. It'll be young growth. So 5 to 8 years from now, it could be home to some birds, which is kind of cool. So yeah.
Awesome. That is so cool.
I know, right? That's so cool. I
Yeah.
didn't know you were doing that with the trees, Adam.
Yeah,
That's
I try to do everything, and then after that, we'll go cut down mustard weed and buckthorn, which are invasive species. So there's a park over here that we'll go to and trim some of them out because they take over they kind of choke out some of the native species. So.
Yeah. So obviously, everybody watching, first of all, I want to say hello. Thank you for joining Dustin and I, and thank you for joining my brother Adam here. As you can tell from listening to him talk about the Ducks Unlimited, that he knows a lot about waterfowl and nature and all the things that are important for Earth Day. So that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to have him on. So you have my brother has so many accolades, and I don't want to, Adam, I couldn't find all of them. So I'm serious. And Dustin tried to, and without bragging, I wanted to share all the wonderful things that you've accomplished, because I think you're pretty special. If you don't mind, I know it's a little embarrassing, but I'll start out with an engineer. You can clarify the rest of it. Go ahead. I love you.
Yeah, I mean, just like, I guess, I don't know, some of the other things I do. Well, I love the filmmaking. That's kind of my hobby. So I take my love for the outdoors, the sustainable field to fork lifestyle, and I try to capture that passion. But other than that, I'm a volunteer firefighter EMT for the small town that I live in here. So I do that after work. I went to school for industrial engineering and work for a great place, and my normal life, and
sorry to interrupt you. So one of the things that you had mentioned when we talked on the phone about doing the interview is that working with Ducks Unlimited had sort of inspired you to want to see and travel the world. How did that end up happening? And also, to talk a little bit about the budget, or how you do what you do, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, that's so it's kind of funny because fishing and hunting, especially duck hunting, kind of led me to on this like crazy journey where I just meet amazing people and then make connections, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I'm in the middle of school, don't have any money. I love fishing. I wanted to backpack Europe, so my passion for that kind of like camping, fishing lifestyle took me over to Europe. So I think, what was I, 22 when I did my first trip?
Yeah.
Pretty much. I'd take like 2 weeks off and just backpack. And I would stay, on a tight budget because, in school I didn't have much. So I think I came back with like $20 in my bank account on that first trip, and I didn't have enough to pay for my luggage. And the lady was like, "Okay," she's like, "Don't worry about it." And I was, but it was worth it to me to like give everything I had to go and explore these amazing places in the world. And and it's funny because like I enjoy just sitting here. I have a lake at the back. I love watching the ducks and the waterfowl and listening to them. Same thing in Europe. It doesn't matter, where in the world. I love just chasing those experiences where I can be in nature, and even if I'm just sitting there enjoying it. And it's like Scandinavia was the first place I really went and got to enjoy the nature there. The Lapland is beautiful. The Arctic, up in northern Norway.
And you just got back from a trip, a really fun trip.
Yeah. Yeah. Which one? Oh yeah, Peru. I spent Christmas in Peru in the Amazon. And it's like these connections you have. I mean, gosh, when you're out there in the middle of the jungle. I remember sitting there, and it was a pretty remote area, and I could see all these. I don't know if they're macaws or parrots or whatever flying over in big groups, and they're so pretty because you see them at the pet store. But to be in a place where they're just wild and free, you know, tackling back and forth at each other, beautiful colors, you know, it's pretty cool to see them in the natural environment, because to us they're an exotic bird, but to that was their home. So yeah, that was a great trip. I'm always looking for good deals. Like, I think some of the tricks I use is, a lot of times everyone thinks last minute trips, like if you book them last minute, they're going to be more expensive. That's not always the case. Like, I'm always looking for this weekend or this Friday, because sometimes for some reason they'll just do a price cut or price slash. Also, like, let's say you're going to Norway. They have their own airline. They have Norwegian Airlines. Go on their website and put the currency in the local currency. So like put Norwegian NOx on there, and it should knock off like $400 at least, because they do their own conversion rate. So like, if you go on Orbis.com and Norwegian Airlines pops up, it's usually cheaper if you just go to their website. I mean, you'll have to translate the page to be able to read it. But yeah, that was kind of a trick I used. That's a lot of times. Like, yeah, I would just put it in their currency. So, and I also look for places for, like, for Peru, you know, it was like $1,800 to go from Detroit to Lima, but I know I can get to Cancun for $250, $300, and then from Cancun it was only like $450 to get, you know. So I shaved off over $1,000. I just spent a weekend in Cancun and enjoyed the beach for a day and a half. So those are some trips on, like, if you really want to make a trip happen, you know, try those little things, and they kind of help me out over time. But
awesome.
People always say to you, and I love your response to this. They always say, oh, because Adam travels a lot in his spare time. He loves to travel, and it's just backpacking and waterfalls and hunting and just the Amazon. Just, you know, it's, people say, oh, you have the life, you know, you have the life, Adam. Like, you just have the life. And so what do you say to people when they are like poking at you like that?
Well, I think, like, I look back, and when I said there's people that like the idea of the outdoors, there's people that like the idea, but they don't actually, I think, truly enjoy being in it. Like, you know, they like the idea of doing it, but they're not. So I think a lot of times people will say that to me, and I always say, like, if it really means enough to you, you'll figure it out. I mean, if you know, it seems like you go on these crazy trips, but if you can take a Friday off, you can do a pretty cool trip in 3 days.
Yes.
As long as you're comfortable with traveling. And I don't care. I'll sleep on a plane. I'll go Thursday night. I think last year I went to Hawaii 3 times and, like, left on a Thursday night, just slept, you know, got there, boom. And I was, like, you know, spear fishing that same day. Sunday, you know, slept on the plane again, and, like, pretty much went straight to work. But you got to make definitely some sacrifices, I think, if you're going to do that type of trips. But you look back and everyone's like, oh, what do you do? Just travel all the time? It's like, no, you have to capitalize on those days. It seems like, you know, here we can drive 4 hours up north to go snowboarding at Boyne Mountain. In 4 hours, you can be in Colorado. I can be snowboarding at, you know, in Silverthorne, whatever, Breckenridge. In the same amount of time, it's just, instead of driving 4 hours up north, I drive an hour to the airport, then I have a 3-hour flight, and then I have an hour, you know, Uber ride to the resort. But it just shows you, like, perspective. I think people think airplanes and travel, it becomes a big trip. It's not as easy or as cost effective as just driving. But yeah, I don't know. I just, you know, you get the urge to want to go see places, and then when you're gone, you miss home. But then when you're home, you miss being gone. It's just like that sick cycle that I'm sure a lot of your viewers probably understand. But like I said, if you're passionate about it, then you make it happen. So,
right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And Adam, you're like your films. Me being an editor and, you know, sort of producer myself, I obviously, you know, like to enjoy good filmmaking. And I gotta say, just all of your films are just really awesome. Like I really enjoy your edits, your the obviously the contents. I mean, you're traveling all around, you got all these awesome shots. You must also have a drone then?
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm on my third drone, but
Oh.
yeah, I wish I had more time. I mean, I have some amazing footage from like Montana and Utah, Idaho last year. I have all my footage from my Peru trip. That was a fishing trip, like a remote fishing trip. That I wish I had more time, to actually edit it, and then
Yeah.
because I think I'm not very artistic like writing, but in my mind, I love video editing because to me, I can try to put things together. But
I have to disagree. I think you're very eloquent with the way that you write, and I love it when I see you writing.
Physically writing, drawing.
Oh, you were talking about drawing. I was like,
Yeah,
I love listening to you talk and how. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the dog back here.
I'm going to put a link for Adam's YouTube channel here. Everybody, please go and check it out. Also on Instagram, Adam also has a ton of really great content and films as well. So everybody, please go check out his content. It's really great.
Thank you, Adam, for joining us and spending.
Thanks for having me. Happy Earth Day.
Yeah, happy Earth Day. And again, everybody who stopped in to say hi, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And we will see you very soon, right, babe?
Yeah, next week we are going to be doing another special show. We'll let you know.
Keep you posted, right?
Yeah, we'll keep you posted on that and all that stuff.
Thanks again, everybody, for stopping by. And thanks, Adam.
Yeah, thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.
Take care, everybody.
Bye. Thank you, guys.